this is my big three for this week, and it's to do with rematches, and this obviously is in honour of Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverly, who were boxing in Liverpool on Saturday in what was a great first fight, and we're expecting the same in the rematch. Okay, so it's that with my third favourite rematch of all time, and this was in 1947. It was voted Fight of the Year, and it was Rocky Graziano versus Tony Zale. Now this was as brutal as Hagler and Hearns, except these guys did it 3 times. Unbelievable. And Zale won the first fight, weathering an absolute hammering from Graziano to come back and knock Graziano out in round 6. Zale had to be propped up. It's still vicious the fight was. Zale had to be propped up in the ring just to wave to the crowd after he was announced as the winner. Now the second fight, which I said was voted Fight of the Year, was in July 1947. This time won by Graziano, and ironically again in the 6th round. But this fight was even better. It was a packed out 18,500 people in Chicago Stadium. Originally meant to be in New York, or changed to Chicago. Now Graziano almost lost his license before this fight. Apparently he got offered a bribe for $100,000 to throw the fight, but didn't tell anyone about it. So then it got out, and he almost got his license suspended. But anyway, the fight went ahead. Now Zale this time, he started fast, opened a cut in the second round over Rocky's left eye. Rocky was down in the third with a right hander. He did get straight back up, but he was hurt. But nothing what he had in the 4th round. We took a little bit of a hide in from Tony Zale, who was right on top of the fight, closing the right eye, swollen shut, of Rocky Graziano. Then in the corner, in between the 4th and the 5th round, now Whitey Bimstein, who was in Rocky's corner, who was trainer and cutsman, pressed a coin against the swelling on the right eye of Rocky Graziano, so hard just to break the skin and reduce the pressure just enough for Rocky to see out that eye. And then Rocky re-established himself a little bit in the 5th round, then came out hell for leather then in the 6th round, and a barrage of right hands with Tony Zale leaning back over the ropes, couldn't protect himself at all, and that was all it took for the referee to step in and stop the fight in the 6th round. And that was my third best rematch of all time. They did fight a third time with Zale winning in the 3rd round. Now my second favourite rematch, this is the 3rd fight against Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, which was also voted Fight of the Year in 2003. Now, the funny thing about this little trilogy is there was no world titles at stake, which is weird to have a fight of rematches, to be such fond in the memory of history of boxing, and not to be for world titles. But these were real Rocky-esque fights. Now, the first fight was in 2002. Now, we had the makings of a good fight with two real brawlers, but no one predicted how terrific and how great these fights would become. The 9th round, especially, possibly being the best and most brutal round of all time, let's be honest. And Gatti, how he seen that round through after getting put down with a real vicious body shot. But he did see that round through and got beat on points by Ward in 10 rounds. And in the second fight, a return, Ward down this time in the 3rd. Gatti went on points, boxing a little bit clever, a little bit more smart, using his boxing skills better. But the 3rd fight, this is the one I'm talking about. This was also voted Fight of the Year. This was just real violent determination from two just real great warriors. Gatti down in the 6th, but he hung on for what regarded for probably his greatest win. Now my favourite rematch of all time is also a 3rd fight, and it's Ali versus Frazier. Now let's go through a little bit like Gatti and Ward. This rivalry surpassed anything that Hollywood could really dream up. The first fight was called the Fight of the Century in 1971. 2 undefeated champions. Ali back after 3 years out, to regain his title, and it was a great battle won by Frazier. And I think that savage left hook in the final round probably secured in the unanimous points win. Frazier then was to lose the title then to the vicious George Foreman. And then a year later dropped the unanimous points decision to Ali, who would then go on to beat Foreman, which set up a rubber match in 1975 between these two rivals. Now they met in the Philippines. It was the Thrill in Manila, it was called. October 1975. One of the greatest, if not the greatest match of all time. There was more punches thrown in this fight than any heavyweight title fight up to that point. And it was a real war of attrition. Watched by 380 closed-circuit venues in the USA showed the fight. 68 countries worldwide, with Ali getting $9 million and Fraser taking home $5 million, which is phenomenal, thinking that probably Vladimir Klitschko, who boxed Saturday night, probably didn't even earn close to that much. But it was a war. It was a war. Ali chosen not to dance this time, but to plant his feet and try and fight with Fraser, throwing uppercuts, great right hands, and Fraser with just great body assaults. Fraser saying after the fight that he hit Ali with punches that were knocked on a wall, and Ali also giving Fraser tremendous credit for staying in there for so long. Anyway, going back to the corner after the 14th round, Fraser's eyes both swollen shut, and the great trainer, the Hall of Fame trainer Eddie Futch, refusing Fraser to go out in the final round to save him for another day. Now that probably is the greatest fight of all time and my greatest rematch for all time. Will Bellew and Cleverly live up to that? We'll find out Saturday.